All right, cool. So how did the prom thing go last night, or what was that about?
So basically just literally the prom for the juniors and seniors, and it's just all in the Zoom meeting. So it was like maybe, I think peak it was like maybe like 40 kids.
Is this for a small high school?
Yeah, for leadership high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, basically they just all join and I'm just like streaming, playing music, and like there was like the teachers in there too, and you know, yeah, just basically playing music for like 2 hours.
All virtual.
Yeah, all virtual. That's like the first. It's like honestly like history in the making, honestly. Like that was like the first virtual prom I've ever done. It's like it's a whole different beast.
Well,
Like
that's what I was telling Aziz, and he told me, he's like, "Do you really think this is going to change the industry forever?" And I told him, "Yeah,
yeah,
this is."
yeah, yeah.
The proof is Travis Scott's concert on Fortnite.
Oh, dude, that was so sick, dude. I didn't
Yeah,
I didn't tune in because I don't have the game. It's a free game, right?
I've played it free on mobile, but I think if you play it on any other system, you have to. I think it's like 20. It's something cheap, $20.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, dude, like that. I saw like a preview, like somebody posted it on their story, and I was like, dude, that's so sick. It's literally like the whole concert,
Yeah,
and like
and
it like changes in different like scenes. Like you go underwater, and then you like jump in the air.
I think you're talking about it was either Beth or Carlos, his little
Yeah,
brother or
yeah, yeah,
cousin.
yeah.
He was like they were waiting for the concert, which is a crazier thing, right? And that's what I was trying to tell Aziz is like this is going to change forever, and if you don't adapt, if you don't change, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
And that's the crazier thing, man. I don't know what's going to happen honestly to our industry, particularly more yours.
Right. Yeah. I mean, definitely, it's gonna change for sure. I mean, I think like there's a new market now, like being a stream DJ, because you've heard like you have a club DJ, you have a mobile DJ who does like weddings, corporate events, private events, and you have like your turntablist, showcase DJ, and then now I think you have like a stream DJ because it's just a whole different beast. It's a different approach than just being in a club or DJing for a wedding, or you got to be more engaging. It's like face to face. People are just looking at you. It's a lot more personable now, I feel.
Hmm. I saw. I think it was Jay Espinoza was pretty happy about it though because he said this is the first time where he wasn't forced to play anything that the clubs want. Right when we go to clubs, I literally general managers will come up to us and be like, "I want you to play this music, and that's it. You're not allowed to play anything else."
Right.
And he said he played whatever he wanted, and it was very satisfying. So I wonder if this will also change if we're going to go back to the concept of breaking records, because I forget who I was talking to about this, that DJs originally, their main job was to break records, help spread music, and you can't even do that anymore because you get in trouble for playing music that's, not allowed to be played on the radio or not popping or anything like that. But how can you get it popular if the DJs don't play it?
Right. Right. Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think this opens a whole nother world for like basically kind of opening up your own club virtually. You make the rules now. It's not really you're under the supervision of somebody else. So you have a lot more freedom, a lot more creative freedom to really do what you want.
do you
And I,
think this is going to show quote unquote real DJs versus people who would just play club hits, or what's a DJ to you? I think at the end of the day, because it like you said, there's so many different types of DJs.
right. I think for me, a DJ, well, I have multiple definitions. Like I guess in the concept of a club DJ, um, just someone that gets the party going, gets the people feel different types of moods, gets them dancing, gets them to the dance floor, makes them have a good time. I feel like being um, a club DJ, I feel like in the context of DJing as a whole, it could be really basic because, you know, getting the people to dance, you're gonna play the top 40 hits, right? for example. You know, to other DJs, it's like, oh, like, cool, he's playing the same 4 songs that, of course, it gets people dancing. But at the end of the day, you're in the club. Like, that's what it's for. You're there to get the people to dance. It's not really so much like if you're a turntablist, for example, you're going to scratch, you're going to do cool tricks. People are watching you because they want to see the type of the showmanship that you have. And, you know, that differentiates both parts of being a DJ. Um, but as far as like being a stream DJ, I mean, I guess there's just a lot more creative freedom. I mean, you could really cater that on how you want. I mean, it all depends on your audience and like who the people are tuning in, you know. Are they people who expect to hear the main club hits? Do they want to hear Latin music? Do they want to hear hip hop? Or maybe they don't care. Maybe they just want to see what you do. Last night, I was just like impromptu. I just streamed on Instagram Live for the first time. And there was a few people who were just vibing on what I was playing, but then I also had some other people comment saying like, oh, play some Bay Area music.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's kind of like, it's like, oh yeah, like this is gonna, if I do that, it's gonna be me playing the same music that I play out in the clubs, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just kind of like the differentiator.
I was talking to Brandon Fox about this, about how brand building right now is probably more important than it ever has been before. Because, like you said, you can cater to everyone else online, or you can have people follow you for who you are and the music you're playing right now. So I don't know, man. I think things are going to change. Think a lot of things are going to change, man. And I think if you're a talented DJ, if you're a versatile DJ, you know, no pun intended, but if you really are about it, I think you'll succeed in the world that we live in right now, because virtually your job is gone right now. Like there is, I don't know when clubs are going to be back open.
It
I
won't be the
don't.
same. It won't be the same. I mean, sure, maybe the clubs will open, but it won't be the same. I think, I don't know. Honestly, really don't know how people are going to react, because I feel like there's a good um, population of people who feel like, ew, like, no, stay away from the clubs, or I'm not trying to be around people. And then I feel like there's another half of people who are just kind of like, I'm ready to go all out, like go crazy and drink and whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So definitely, um, yeah, it's going to be very different. And I think, I mean, for me, like, yeah, like my line of work has been out for like the last 2 months, and it's just been kind of stressful a little bit, and just really just trying to think. And I think is really all about adapting to the new change.
Yeah. I mean, I think you and I have been talking about going to Vegas for a while. And on one hand, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to go back. And I just, you know, the pool parties were fun and the big clubs were fun. Same time, I'm like, is it worth it? You know, I can
Yeah.
sit back, enjoy music from my house, have whatever drinks I want, not spend any money. And it's not the same experience, but it's definitely something very similar. If you're there for the music, then yeah, but if you're there for the ambiance, there's nothing like a, you know, good Vegas pool party.
Hmm.
So there is going to be some type of balance in between that all. I would argue though, some DJs are getting paid more now than
You mean?
what, yeah, in streaming, just on tips alone.
Yeah. Right.
I
Yeah.
forgot who it was. I think, was it Beto or Carlos, that they said that they like made $300 in tips.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I think they got booked for some like birthday party, like one of their friends. So it was just basically all like friends, like everybody knew each other in the, I think it was like a Zoom meeting. And yeah, they just all tipped, you know. You know, it's a lot easier to get tips with people that know each other. Um, but yeah, they made like $300.
Which, no offense to them or most DJs, no DJ is making 300. The average DJ is not making $300 a night.
Hmm.
If like you're just starting out, or yeah, just based off my knowledge, I don't think most DJs are making $300 a night.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think this is a whole new avenue for DJs to get paid more than ever before.
Yeah, and you kind of, you know, you kind of go by your own rules. You're not really under like being paid by a promoter or something like that.
There's no middleman anymore, and that's the thing. I think
Middleman, that's a good word.
Mark Cuban was speaking about how if he wasn't, in his position, he would take his time to automate everything. I think we need to find automation within the DJ world, and it's something you and I have discussed for a very long time. Whether it's Venmo at the door or contactless payments at the door, and a way for you to request music through Venmo, through something, through the DJ, so that people don't even have to come up to you anymore and request
Mm.
music.
Oh,
If
yeah,
if
like
they Venmo you $15, $5, $20, hey, can you play, this song?
right.
And it just digitally pops up somewhere on your screen, or the person next to you, your manager or something. It's like, hey, this song, you got $20. Let's play it, 3 songs down. I
Right, right.
think that's where the world's going to go.
Yeah.
Something has to change, because we all know that the old ways of the club was dying in general. Clubs were dying,
Right.
especially here in
Well,
San.
yeah. I think that'd be a great thing, like just to add kind of like that digital aspect to the club industry, because just in general, like you said, it's been declining like everywhere. Especially San Francisco. I mean, living in SF, I could say like the club scene is definitely going down. It's not the same as it used to be.
Which is a crazier thing, because I would argue that the Bay Area right now has some of the best DJs. We
Yeah.
probably have some of the best DJs right now.
Yep. Yeah. We birthed the best DJs.
Which is the crazy thing, because so they're making most of their money through touring, and we're speaking about like Miles Medina's, Jay Espinoza, Romeo Reyes, Brandon Fox. There's a couple other big guys, Shortcut. Who am I missing? That are like the big tour DJs, I would say.
Shabazz.
Oh,
You could say Shabazz.
Shabazz. I forgot
Yeah.
about Shabazz. How could I forget about Shabazz? Yeah. I mean, he's worked for
Um,
Mikey Basie, Shellheart, DJ J12. Let's see if I'm trying to think of anyone in particular from the Bay Area that's really killing it.
DJ Burr, he was touring for a minute too
Yep,
as
Bird
well.
was the. So, are these guys really making a lot of money from your knowledge? Because there's stuff that more than I know on how much these guys are actually making when they're touring versus, is it just a show? How much. And that's the thing that bugged me, right? It's like hip hop DJs aren't making as much as obviously EDM DJs, but are the tour DJs making that much? Like, is Espinoza and Miles really making that much? Is Shabazz making that much?
Um, I mean, I can't speak on them personally, but I mean, at least from what I've seen, like trends, I don't think it's really that much, to be honest. I mean, I think it all depends on who they're working with, like whether if it's like the management company or promoter or whatever, whoever is booking them. I think that's really is what it depends on,
Hmm.
how much they're making.
So
Um,
how do we get the hip hop DJs on the level of the EDM DJs, or is it at the end of the day, if you're not producing your own music, are you not, on their level? Because most of those DJs, at least I think most of them, produce most of their own music that they're playing.
right, right,
Not
right.
all of them, but
You're
most of them.
talking about EDM DJs, right?
EDM DJs,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think it has to do with the promoter. Um, well, actually, no. I don't know. I guess the fan base, like if the fan base is created on like music that's been produced by somebody. So like if I produce a song, people are gonna listen to it, and because they listen to it and they like it, they're gonna want to go see me
Hmm.
perform somewhere. So it creates that demand for me to be booked somewhere by a promoter, by a festival or whatever, because like, oh hey, you have this song that everybody likes, let's book you.
Got it.
Versus let's say I don't have any production out, um there's really no demand for me to play music, just
But
because
I mean, wouldn't your song selection skills, isn't that something you can sell?
yeah. I just think, yeah, I think it just depends on your team really to really market yourself as that guy, like a DJ Shortcut or DJ Qbert, where it's like, book them somewhere and you get like hella people that go there
Just because
to
of who
see
they
it.
are.
Yeah, because they have the name behind them.
And that's just brand building at that point, right? It's a lot longer to blow up as a hip hop DJ than anything else.
Right. Well, I
I
think Go ahead.
I just haven't seen anyone really make it that big that fast. You know, an artist can blow up overnight. EDM DJs, same thing, they blow up overnight sometimes. But there's a lot of, I haven't met hip hop DJs who are, you
On
know,
that
just
scale, on that
on
level.
that scale. And that's the thing that doesn't bother me, but I'm trying to figure out what's stopping you guys from reaching that level. I would say Miles Medina and Jay Espinoza are the pinnacle of that right now, and even Shabazz.
They're like climbing up right now. They're not like at their peak, or they're about to be at their peak. You know, we see them as like very influential, really big, like they're doing big things, but they're just getting started. You know, they've put in years behind like their craft, and now they're just finally seeing like, you know, they're reaching their peak.
I wonder if it's also not having the right sponsors behind the hip hop movement. I see that Red Bull obviously has a big, you know, with Jay Spinoza and Red Bull, and I think it was Jay Spinoza that did
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
So that's perfect, right? I think if we have more of those, because I thought people at that Red Bull event, you had people who probably weren't into scratching or who weren't into, I would say, technical DJs.
Get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and they saw it and they're like, oh, this is what's possible. This is what's cool. It just shows a whole new light into what's possible for DJs. And I think it takes the right promoters, the right group, and the right sponsorships. And I think you can get a really good party out of it.
Yeah, well, because the name Red Bull speaks for itself. You know, you have, I mean, whatever their market is, at least like their demographic, you know, you have a regular Red Bull drinker, and then you put Red Bull in turntablism and DJing, and then now you have your like DJ nerds coming in, and then you have like your regular Red Bull drinkers like, huh, like what's this? Huh, this is cool. This is music. I like this. And then you just kind of intertwine both things together.
My understanding is like, why hasn't Serato? Why hasn't BPM? Why haven't these big other DJ companies thrown events? Maybe they have. Maybe I'm not too deep into the culture as much as you are, but I think there is a huge void in the DJ world when it comes to big events from sponsorship companies.
I think, well, BPM actually they've been rebranding and building their brand. Right now they're trying to push like an artist, like um like hire what do you say, like book artists like for their shows and stuff, or sign, there you go, sign artists. They're trying to sign artists now.
Almost turning themselves into a label.
A label, yeah, and they're implementing like a whole like production thing too. So like BPM Supreme is the DJ record pool. So what that is it supplies music for DJs. It's basically a big catalog of music, and DJs log in, pay a subscription, and download music. So that was their first thing that they did, and now they're shifting gears to get artists like on a label and stuff. But yeah, so like that's like their whole thing. Like they had like an industry launch party in LA when I DJ'd at NAMM. We also hit that party up, and they had like Just Blaze. They had this one artist from LA open up and stuff. Like he's like a rapper, singer. Yeah, and that was just like their launch party for like that whole new like rebrand on BPM Supreme.
So yeah, I wonder if that's what's missing. If that's what is stopping DJs from reaching that pinnacle level of, do hip hop DJs need a label, or do DJs need a label? I would argue in our generation, no, but the support of a big company or the support of, you know, someone as big as BPM, I think would make a huge difference in the industry.
Yeah, I think really it's just the connections behind like a label or something, and just the money too. You know, they provide the capital for you to do things.
Well, isn't that what you're doing with what's the group that you're with right now? The one you mentioned to me?
Mysterious.
Yeah, Mysterious. Can you talk about them a little bit?
Yeah, so basically it's just an artist collective, primarily founded on DJing. It started with a group of DJs. And it's just currently right now it's three generations of artists, and each new generation coming in, of course, gets better and better because we've learned the things that work and the things that don't work. So really it's just pushing DJ culture and um just trying to stand out from you know the typical DJ, or um you know whatever like people define a DJ as nowadays. So, and it's really just working with different brands, different companies, and just coming together and being one unison thing.
No, I think that's the there's not that many big collectives out there. The only other collective that I know of, and that I'm always been a big fan of, was obviously Young California,
Hmm.
right? They pioneered, I would say, a lot of the big DJs that we know of today. The ones that have gone on tour, the ones that are kind of running pretty much most of the SF clubs.
Right.
If you're part of Young California, you get booked. You're guaranteed of getting booked almost.
Hmm.
But even then, most of the Young California people have all branched out and done something even bigger on their own.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of people, they kind of left Young California or just kind of branched off, did their own thing.
Yeah, they're still. I'm assuming they're still part of the group. Uh,
Yeah.
I was talking to Brandon, and I didn't know he was part of Young California. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it shocked
Um,
me.
Probably. I feel like
No,
I
he was.
seen his name. Yeah. No, yeah,
But
yeah. But like at the time, I mean, now I know Brandon. At the time, I didn't know Brandon, but I think that's probably where I heard his name from.
yeah, so that shocked me because Young California has brought out some of the biggest DJs. At least DJ Charisma, DJ Geo, ASAP, Shabazz, J12 was out of there as well. Brandon Fox. I'm trying to think if I'm obviously Amen, but I don't think that matters.
Well, yeah. I mean, Amen's was
Amen's
the
the creator of it, right? It was him and was it him and oh my god, what's her name?
Charisma.
Yeah, was it him and Charisma that kind of made Young
I
California what
I
it
think
is?
so. Yeah. I think Amen. I don't think he really pushes it that much now because I think because he works in radio. Well, actually, Charisma works in radio too.
Yeah, she
But
works in LA. They both work in LA.
yeah, but I know Charisma pushes it a lot more, at least from what I've seen currently. I could be wrong though. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, she's also a really big fan of like young artists.
Right.
I think DJ Charisma gives a huge light on breaking records and supporting young artists.
Right.
She messes with a lot of Chris's songs. She messes a lot of with Kalen's music. With I always pronounce his name wrong, but um, is it FIFA? No,
FIFA. Yeah, yeah,
FIFA.
FIFA.
Yeah, his music. So I think she's doing great, and she has probably a bigger influence than most DJs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. There's not much left that I don't know. Like I said, this podcast is more just a chit chat with friends, and it wasn't necessarily more of like an interview or anything like that. Just curious if there's anything on your mind that you've been meaning to speak about, or any stories you'd like to share.
I mean, I think the biggest thing right now is just the whole, I mean, kind of what I talked about earlier, the whole streaming thing, just really um pioneering what it means to be a stream DJ. I think
Mhm.
that's like an untapped market right now, or like people are kind of learning about it. Um, for example, when I did this virtual prom for a high school, this was like the very first virtual prom ever. So to me, it was new. To the teachers, it was new. So really, there's no like foundation behind it. And they asked me like, oh, like how much would you, how much is fair for us to pay you? And to me, it was just like, I mean, for me, I was doing it out of the kindness of my heart, just because, like, I care for the kids, and I feel like they deserve, something, considering schools are closed down due to COVID. Um, so it's just more like a thing that I was doing for them. But just that whole conversation about being paid for it was just like, oh, like, huh, that's weird. Like, I don't know what to say to that, you know, because, you know, you've heard when you get booked for a wedding, you know, there's information on the internet on how to approach that. There's, you know, there's a foundation behind it
Damn,
as
I didn't even
far
think
as
of
like
that.
how you work out a deal, or, you know, like what's the fair price range? Like, are we DJing for 300 people? Okay, this is going to be $1,000. Are we DJing for 1,000 people? All right, this is going to be 2,000. You know, you have a guide. There's guides out there, even for being a club DJ or whatever. But for being a stranger, it's like, huh, like, kind of makes you think, like, wait, how much should I charge? What is fair? You know, because there's really no guides out there, at least from what I've seen.
How you don't have to speak on the price. How did you come up with that number for at least a streaming purpose?
I based it on just like my time that I'm taking out of my day, or the preparation, you know, to prepare the music, to get the music that's appropriate, and just really uh I guess the equipment too that I'm using, because I did have to go out and get equipment that was suitable for streaming.
Did you end up
Obviously,
buying a webcam? I'm thinking
no,
of buying a webcam.
yeah, no, I didn't, because they're super overpriced right now, and I'm not trying to
Got it.
spend like $200. But I actually just use the webcam on my laptop, because I have two computers now, so I just use the webcam on the laptop, and then my other computer was the computer I was using to DJ. So I guess just really the use of the equipment that I have to use, and just, I guess mostly the time too.
Is
Um,
that how you? Because I've seen your prices, and maybe that's why I'm probably not even asking so many questions. Is because in my head I'm like, I already know that, so why would I even ask that, right? But
right,
as an artist myself, I've struggled with it with photography, especially with
yeah,
friends
right,
or just new customers. And I've gotten probably, quote unquote, I've gotten fucked over by a lot of people when you do something and they say they're going to pay you or they don't, or not being paid in general. And I think you've gone through that yourself. But how
oh
did
yeah,
you
definitely.
come up with your prices as you progressed as a DJ? Your name, the equipment you got, with all that. Because I remember when I first started, I was using the basic lens, the basic camera equipment, and I wasn't charging for the longest time. And then as I got better equipment, as I got better, I had a feeling of like, all right, this is how much I'm going to charge. This is you start taking into factors that maybe you would have never taken into account before.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, for me, it's really the effort that I put in on my own time. Really, I think what defines what my work or my services is worth. Obviously, like, if I'm busy downloading new music, you know, staying current, being having my music updated all the time, um the places I've DJ'd at before, you know, just my experience in general. I mean, I think this is kind of applies to just, you know, working a 9 to 5 as well. You know, like, there's going to be a point where, you know, you started off at the minimum wage, and you've gained experience, you've gained skills, and now you personally, you feel it, like, I feel like I'm worth this now. And you go out to that new job, that new place, and of course you're going to ask for more, because, you know, you got to sell yourself, like, you know, I've done this, I've done that. I feel like this is a fair price too, you know. But, you know, of course, everything within reason, and, you know, good business ethics, and, you know, there's different ways to approach it.
Have you ever like turned not necessarily turning down low paying gigs, but perhaps when people are starting out, some people might be like, no, I deserve this much. So they skip on the lower tier jobs. And I think sometimes you kind of just have to pave your way. And if you don't do this, the bottom gigs, you can't get up here because you don't have the proper experience or the proper time to
Right.
actually get up there.
Yeah. No, you definitely have to. You kind of have to pay your dues. Um, and those low paying gigs will, like, teach you the skills necessary to do these higher tier gigs. So there's
Yeah.
definitely a lot to learn from.
No, and that's the thing. I could think of so many times where we've had freak accidents happen to your equipment mid set,
Right.
before the set, after the set. And if you didn't do those gigs, hindsight,
I wouldn't be prepared for
you
them.
wouldn't be prepared for them, right? I think one of the ones that come up to me most is when I think was it the G-Eazy show, when your camera, I mean, when your computer just stopped working
Oh, that was crazy.
and later we discovered it was because of the fog machine.
I think it was I don't know, to be honest, the fog machine, or maybe the connectivity with the lights that were
I think
like
it's the
that.
fog machine
The
because
le- I don't know.
if you've ever worked with fog machines, it actually says, like, if you're going to use fog in your house, cover all electronics
Uh,
because it messes with them.
the humid, like
Yeah, it eventually falls down. It has to go somewhere. So I think it just,
that was crazy. You know, I I forgot about that, but that was crazy that happened. But it was weird though. I didn't really freak out in that moment. Like I didn't really, get super stressed out. Just kind of like, no, it has to work. I don't
I
know.
don't even, how did we fix it or what happened? I don't really remember because I was busy, managing the stage. So I didn't really have time to,
Yeah. I just like my computer wasn't turning on, so I like turned off the power button, and it kind of like lagged for a little bit, and then it finally turned on, but it was taking really long
mhm,
to turn on.
yeah.
And then like I think some error came up while it was booting up, and then just left it like that, then turn it off again, turn it on, and it worked. It was fine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The other memory that I have is the one of the House of Gods event in LA that we did with Chris
Oh
and
yeah.
all the rest of the friends, and where the DJ plugged in his USB into your computer or vice versa,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
deleted your whole set. What happened there?
I think like my computer, so he plugged in his external hard drive into my computer, because there was only one controller, and there was no like dual switch off, so you couldn't do like a smooth transition from one computer to another computer.
Mhm.
So we had to use the computer that I was using, and I think my computer couldn't handle the hard drive like once it connected, because I think at that time I was using an external hard drive to play my music, which I don't do now anymore because it's a hassle, because I've already had two experiences, including that one and another experience that I had at a house party. um
When Buddy dropped it, right?
someone dropped, so my hard drive was like on top of something, and he bumped the table, and then my external hard drive like kind of plopped down on the table, and it like corrupted my hard drive, and it never worked since then. And of course you're spinning music off that hard drive, so of course the music is going to stop.
Mhm.
But yeah, so like I don't know, back to the story, my computer couldn't handle another hard drive being connected, or it like lagged my computer, and it I don't know, it just like undocked the hard drive that I was using, so of course the music stopped, and it was just like loading. I think it was like the rainbow pinwheel or something,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
there was no music for like a good like what 5 minutes.
Well, that was luckily it was during sound check. If
Was
I
it?
remember, it was during sound check.
Are
Luckily,
you sure?
I'm
Wasn't it
sure.
during?
No, because J12 had to go on next. I think if I'm trying to remember this all correctly.
Wait, no.
And
Wait, which one are we talking about? The House of Gods LA one?
oh, I was. Oh, you're talking about the one, the House of Gods.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't remember. All I remember is that you were freaking out because your whole playlist that you and Chris created the night before was just gone.
Was gone.
It
Yeah,
was
like
just deleted.
yeah, my crate deleted or something in Serato.
Hmm.
I forgot how that happened.
See, that's the interesting part. And here, I think the segue that I want to take this with is there dues or are there DJ rules? Is there rules that every DJ follow? Well, most of these guys don't follow them. In fact,
Like etiquette.
yeah, etiquette, because reality is most of these guys are so unprepared and it's so annoying. And it gets more annoying when it's guys on a higher level on a higher tier level. The amount of times I've heard, and you know who I'm talking about, and I'm not gonna, name drop anyone in particular, but can I borrow your headphones? Can I borrow your 3 millimeter plug? Can I borrow, whatever, borrow whatever? Can I borrow your needles? Can I borrow, like, I'm like, dude, you're getting paid how much? You're
Right.
you're this famous DJ and you can't even remember your own headphones. You can't, like that. I can't get over that. That is
Yeah,
so annoying.
I know what you're talking about.
And luckily you always just seem to have an extra pair of headphones. You always have extra
Yeah,
USB
no, for that
cables.
reason. Because if I only have, let's say they want a cable or something, if I only have one and I give them the one that I use, I'm not getting that cable back. There's a good chance I'm not getting it back. So now I keep 3 USB cables in my back in my DJ backpack.
Hmm.
I keep like little headphone adapters, just like random stuff because I've already lived those experiences. I've already been in the moment where I'm like, oh crap, what the hell do I do? So
Hmm.
for the next time, I'm gonna be prepared. Like I'm always prepared. I always bring USBs. I always bring just extra stuff that are common things that happen.
Yeah, but I also think the culture is changing, man. Because when you and I came up, I remember this particularly because at the time you didn't have turntables. I think you didn't really know how to use turntables, and we had controllers. And I remember if you put a controller on top of a turntable, you were like the laughing stock of the DJ community. People would just look at you sideways. You broke the rule. You, like, it's the number one rule, right? Never put anything on top of turntables. And
Right.
now I see more and more DJs do that, and it's almost acceptable. And it's almost like it's okay. He's just starting out. I remember I got mad one time. I was like, "No, that's not fair," because
Right.
we got made fun of.
No. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a really good point, and I've actually noticed that I think when I was coming up around that time, the whole like controller market was kind of booming or it was increasing.
Mhm.
So like there weren't a lot of, I guess, DJs using controllers at that time, or let alone bringing their controller out to their gigs.
Mhm.
So whenever I would do it, it was kind of like frowned upon, and it was just kind of like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing type of thing,
Mhm.
you know. Now I feel like it's okay to use a controller, and it's actually a good thing to use a controller. Like, oh, look, he's being smart about it. He has to carry less things, or
Yeah.
he's comfortable playing on it now, or use what works for you, So
Yeah. It's so, I don't know, but I also, maybe because one, controllers are gaining more in popularity. Controllers are way more advanced than what they used to be.
mhm.
It's just you can do a lot more on a controller nowadays than you could have done maybe previously.
It's weird because there's a lot of respect now. For example, like the turntablists who are using controllers, um, they're they're kind of praised, like, oh wow, like he did that on a controller now, like that's so cool,
Hmm.
versus, I don't know, I want to say maybe 5 years ago it would be like, oh, he's whack, he's on a
He's using a
controller.
controller. I
Yeah.
And by the way, to anyone listening, if I ever say we, the only reason I'm saying we is because I probably have been to 90%, 99% of Mike's gigs. I have been there since day one. So it's never including myself in that, like, I am part of the DJ culture. It's just that I've literally been there for every damn thing that this kid has done. So um,
Right.
just clearing that, because I do not know how to DJ, but you have taught me a lot when it comes to music, and when it comes to transitioning and the quality of music. And this is something I think that musicians alone don't get credit for, especially DJs, is that you guys are damn near electricians. You guys
Yeah.
have like a little mini degree in technology, because the amount of technology that you guys use is just ridiculous. I remember that one Halloween party at Nadia's house when we blew the speaker
Oh,
because we
yeah.
didn't understand. At least I didn't. I still don't know what happened. We plugged it directly into an outlet, right?
Yeah. I think it was mainly because it was too hot in there.
That's why. I thought it was because of power surge.
With that, well, it was a mixture of everything. Well, because yeah, you're more likely to have a power surge if a place is too hot. if you have a piece of equipment and that is not like the temperatures isn't regulated or in a regulated environment, then it's more likely to either blow out, have a power surge. So it was just a combination of everything. And also like I think I would it was like
We didn't
there
have
were
a
too
power
many,
strip.
yeah, there was too many people in there, and I was like turning up the speaker as well.
Okay.
So that also affected it as well.
Because now you don't travel without power strips. You carry power strips everywhere you go. Is that mandatory for, like, let's say most DJs, like, you need to carry this thing because it helps you protect your equipment, or what would you say when it comes to regards to that?
If you're DJing for clubs, I don't think you necessarily need to bring a power strip. Um, I mean, there will be cases where, like, let's say you've DJed at that place before and you kind of know what the setup is like. If you know that the outlet is like 10 feet away from the turntable, then it might be beneficial to bring a power strip, just that way it makes it easier for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as if you're a mobile DJ, if you do like weddings and stuff like that, of course, like always bring extra cables. I mean, that's part of the job because you basically have to set up the sound. So you're going to need all those regardless.
Yeah. I think, when you say mobile gigs and we say all this, I think we're entering a new phase. I think Shabazz tweeted about this a while ago, and he says club promoters are expecting the DJs to play music and be a promoter.
Right.
Right. I think a lot of club managers or just people that are in charge of booking don't care about talent anymore. Let's just be honest. It doesn't matter how good of a DJ you are. And what matters to them is how many people can this DJ bring to my event.
Mm-hmm.
And is that where we're heading to, DJs, I guess? Or is that just, hey, he's not a good brand builder, right? His brand just sucks. He might be a talented DJ. And that goes for any art, right? That's the concept of starving artists. If you're not good at selling yourself, I'm sorry, but you're gonna get left behind.
Right. Yeah. I couldn't say if that's the future right now, just because this whole COVID thing. So I think it's kind of shifting. So I feel like there's gonna have to be a different approach. What throwing a nightclub event is like. But as far as like before COVID, I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's a business. Like, as a manager, as a owner, like, you care about the money coming in. And I mean, sure, you're booking like a great DJ, but if there isn't money being made, then of course, I think the first thing is to blame the DJ. I feel like the DJ is always the first to be blamed. But I mean,
but they're not congratulated. Who? Gibran.
Jabron.
I always pronounce his name wrong. I apologize if you.
Everyone pronounced his name wrong. Actually,
I'm sorry, man.
Don't feel bad.
He said it best. I think it was like on one of Anthony's posts. Jebron's like, you guys are so quick to demonize us when the event is bad, but you guys never praise us when the event is going good. And I remember I was like, that is very true.
That's
right? People are so quick to point a finger at DJs if the event is bad because they blame him. He's not playing good music. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. But they will never praise the place is packed because of him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I mean, I think just the way like throwing an event works, I mean, you have your DJ and you have your promoter side. So I feel like, I mean, yeah, I think the promoter has to do his job too. Obviously you have your better promoters and you have your weak promoters, and the better promoter will bring in people.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, I think it goes hand in hand. Like, you have a good promoter and a good DJ, put those together, and like, you get a better result because it's like, oh, I like this promoter. He throws good parties. It's like, oh, we have that DJ. Like, he's good too. Like, it's gonna be a good night.
Yeah. I was thinking actually on that question I asked you earlier, like what DJs have broken the limit. I think any DJ who is tied with a big hip hop artist, they have broken the the barriers. I think I was thinking about DJ. What's his name? I can't even think right now. Who is it? DJ Esco?
DJ Esco for what?
Isn't he Futures DJ?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's been pretty big by himself. I'm thinking about DJ Oreo. DJ Oreo is good by himself.
Oh yeah, DJ. That's Chance's DJ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
DJ
about that. Yeah.
DJ is it Quick or DJ Quiz? Who's G-Eazy's DJ?
DJ Quiz. Yeah.
Yeah. He's good on his own. So I wouldn't say you're an artist DJ, but you're definitely, you and Chris O'Bannon have this relationship. How, because that I saw that literally form over time. How would you say, like, if there's DJs out there that want to work with an artist, what are the ways to maybe make that happen?
I mean, I think it goes showing the mutual support between each person, DJ supporting artist, artist supporting DJ, and just having good chemistry, I think is very important. I think that will determine like the success between you guys, like the dynamic. Is it a good, do you vibe off each other? Do you share the same ideas, the same morals? That's all important on, I guess, being successful as a duo or trio, whatever it is.
Because you've been with him for a while, and there's a couple of other DJs that have, I mean, a couple other rappers that have asked you to DJ their events. I know Stunnaman always asks you to to spin for him. I'm trying to think if anyone else in particular always asks you to do their sets.
Lil Mac and
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. If also, I think the other big thing was, like, if you're not a fan of their music, it's just not going to work.
Right.
Because that's how it started with you and Chris. It was like you and I were just fans of his music, and we played it all the time. So we knew when the song started. We knew when the song ends. We knew when to cut it in the middle. And I think fans make the best DJs for when it comes to those situations.
Yeah, like I'm a fan of his music, so therefore.
Exactly.
It's a lot easier. It's less work.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, is there ever been a moment with big name artists that you've how about, like, were you ever starstruck with any of these big guys that we've met? Because I know we've met a couple big artists already, and I'm trying to, I know I think for me it was when I met G-Eazy. I was a little starstruck for that because he just dropped These Things Happen,
right?
And definitely one of my favorite artists. I'm not sure if there was anyone else that really kind of like, oh man, that's him, right? And we've met a couple people.
Mm-hmm. I think when it was starting off, I think it was kind of like, whoa, like he's right there, she's right there.
Uh-huh.
But I think over time, you kind of realize that they're just regular people, and it's best to just be normal around them, not really be like, oh my God, this is G-Eazy, because then they're gonna view you as just a regular fan. And for me, like, that's not really my goal. My goal is to work with these artists, to establish myself with them, familiarize myself, make them know who I am. And I think the approach should always be, very genuine, very, willing to work with that artist. Because if you approach it like, oh yeah, like I'm a fan of, of course you could say, yeah, I'm a big fan of your music, sure. But, there's just different ways. There's different approaches. A regular fan who goes to their shows would, be all starstruck and, oh my God, let's take a picture. And, and just think about it in their shoes. I mean, if someone came up to you that way, like, this happens to you every day. At some point, you'd be like, okay, yeah, let's take a picture. Like, you're gonna be nice, of course, but you won't be. You'll just view him as a fan.
Yeah. I realize they actually enjoy it when you just treat them like normal people.
Yeah,
When you're not, fanboying over them. And
right,
don't get me wrong, like I'm a big believer in giving people their flowers now that they're alive, right? Especially with what
right.
happened with Nip. But yeah, they really appreciate you once you're just like a normal person. And like you said, I forgot who it was that made me realize that they're just normal people. Like they're just like us. I forgot who it was or which artist in particular it was, but I was like, you know what? They're not any different than I am.
Hmm.
They're just as goofy as we are. They have inside jokes with their friends. They eat, Skittles. They eat everything, right? They're normal people. Just they have this talent and they have this career and yeah, they put in the work, and I think that's it, right? So what can we leave them off with, Mike? Like, what are some last things when it comes to DJing that maybe the average person doesn't know how much work it really, takes to really what it really means to be a DJ, I think.
I think that's a deep question. I think just really it's all. I think to be successful is all really earning your stripes.
Hmm.
Um, doing the small gigs, doing the gigs that don't make sense. Because at the end of the day, there's always something that you could learn from it,
Yeah.
and that will make you a better DJ overall.
Hmm.
Just take every weak gig, every bad gig, take it, and try to learn the most that you can from it.
Hmm.
And try to make the most out of it too. Don't approach those gigs like, oh, I have to do this, or that's
Yeah.
one thing I've learned for me, because at times I feel like, oh, like I don't want to do this, but I always try to change my mindset. I mean, it's normal to feel that way for any person with anything, but just I try to change my mindset and just be approach it like, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to my advantage?
Yeah.
Because
100%.
yeah, because a lot of times, I mean, things won't be how you want it to be. I mean, maybe you wanted $1,000 for this, but you got 100, and of course, you're going to be bitter approaching that. But just really changing that mindset to it's like, all right, let's make most out of this $100 that I'm going to get.
Dude, I mean, we've had some horrible events. I
Yeah,
I can attest to that. 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, you and I are exhausted, and we're like, let's go home. But we have a job, we have an obligation to be there, regardless of how popping the event is or how popping it's not. So I definitely 100 agree with you. I was thinking, dude, the other day. Sorry, this idea just came in. Do you think there will ever be an industry or demand for mixes again? Because I remember when mixes were a big thing, and
hmm,
I think right now the big thing is playlists.
yeah,
But do you think there's going to be a market for like, hey, here's $50, make me a Drake mix, make me a
mm,
Nipsey mix? Because I was thinking, right? Because like I've asked you since the longest time to make me a good music mix, so I was like, fuck it. What if I give him $100? I'm sure he'll take it and he'll make me a good
oh heck
music.
yeah,
But like, why hasn't that happened?
I think because
Why
you
people pay for fine art, right? People pay for art.
yeah, well, I think first you'd have to change the idea of a DJ first to create the demand of people wanting mixes. So people would have to feel like, I want to listen to that DJ.
Hmm.
For example, a club goer that goes to the club, typically it's not like that person, that club goer is going out because they want to see that DJ. It's more like, I want to go to the club because I want to party and I want to drink.
Yeah.
So back in the days, the mindset was, oh, I want to go to the club because I want to see DJ Mario. Like, I want to see him. Like, but it's not like that anymore. Now it's like, I want to go to the club because I want to party.
Hmm.
So I think if we change that mindset of people, um, um, like wanting to see a DJ, I think that would create more of a demand of people wanting their mixes. And also, I mean that's one part of it. The other part is music nowadays is so accessible and disposable that I mean I just go on Spotify, Apple Music or whatever, play whatever song at any time, stop it at any time, listen to 30 seconds. All right, next song, you know? So like,
Yeah, but that's more of a playlist because there is something special about mixes. I've bought mixes before. DJ Vip puts out a annual mix every year, right? And he makes it look nice, and he puts all the songs that he thought were really good that year in a mix, edits it, does it. You know, one of my favorite mixes, even though you look back on it and you think it's childish, right? And now going back to it, and even me, I'm like, damn, like yeah, he fucked up with this part, or like he could have done this better. Um, was the Bay to LA mix. Still one of my
oh,
favorite.
yeah.
Still one of my favorite mixes because I just liked how you put all the music together. There's times on there where I'm like, hey, this song sounds different than the original song. And you're like, oh yeah, because I added, this thing to it. So I think there is a market for it. I think it also depends on the branding. Like, is this DJ worth, that much money? And the only reason I thought about this, bro, to be honest, I forgot what the name of the movie is. It's the movie with Kevin Hart, and he has to take care of a paraplegic. I don't know if you've seen that movie. I forgot what it's called.
No.
It's a good movie. Watch it if you can. It's like Kevin Hart, and I forgot. But he pretty much takes care of this paraplegic. This paraplegic, super rich, has all this fine art. And then Kevin Hart in the movie is like, man, like I can do that. I can paint something like that. So he paints this like dog, right? He paints this dog, makes it like, and that rich guy's friend comes in, and he's like, oh, like what painting is this? Do you think it's going to be worth anything? And the guy just lied. He just completely lied. It's like, oh yeah, it's made by, blah, blah, blah artist. He's like, there's only one in existence. And
Right.
he's like, and his rich friend's like, do you think it's going to go up in value? And yeah, and he paid $50,000 for it in the movie, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, why can't we do that with mixes? Why can't we create? And is that, I think that's just marketing, right? That comes to the marketing and the branding point of the DJ. Like that's where their creativity has to get stepped up and be like, all right, if you want to mix, this is what it's going to cost you. Because I don't think any DJ does that right now. Ask anyone. Be like, yo, how much are you selling your mixes for? They can barely even get 10 plays on their fucking mixes, Like, how are they going to sell it? So,
Right.
I don't know, man. Maybe that's something you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Make mixes for people and sell them. Like, specialized mixes for them. There was I also got inspired from it with Tory Lane said that when I forgot what song it was, and you do it. Not Sean Kingston. Derek King does it really well. But Tory Lane said that he made, I forgot what song it was. Let's just say Love, right? He made Love, but then he inserted the DJ's name in Love.
Oh, the dub plates.
Yeah, but he said he did it like 300 times.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, you know why I'm not afraid of sharing this information? He's like, because none of you guys are going to fucking do it. He's like, none of you artists are going to sing this DJ's name and make it sound good and then give it to them. And he's like, that's why you guys aren't where I'm at. I was like, damn, like that. So I was like, if you can do that with people's mixes, maybe. I don't know. These are ideas that are just popping into my head right now.
I forgot who also talked about that too. It was
Chris?
on a radio show.
Did Chris? Well, Chris, I know Chris said he wanted to do it with a bunch of his new music.
He did it. He did it on one of his singles, like 2 years ago or a year ago. But no, some other artist was talking about that, and just talking about. I guess it was on the topic of being humble or something like that. But yeah, he said that like you walk into a radio station and then you have this list of all these DJs' names, and that's gonna determine like the type of artist that person is. Like, are they gonna really sit there and voice all those DJ names for all those DJs, and that just differentiates them. Like, some are willing to do it, and some are gonna be like, nah, like screw this, I'm not gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to Tory Lane's story.
Yeah. So, well, I think that's when we'll leave it off, man. I think if you're not willing to work hard or, strap on your own boots and make it happen, as I told Aziz, and I think this is going to be a similar topic across every single one of our podcasts that I have on here, is that if you don't adapt, you will get left behind. And that's the reality of it, man. And I hope you and your family are doing safe, man. Can't wait till this thing is over and we can all just hang out again. So anyways, in the meantime, is there anything new that you're going to be releasing soon? Should I be expecting anything?
So I finally did enough research. I'm actually still doing research, but yes, last night I streamed on Instagram Live for the very first time, and that got a really good reaction. It was dope. Like I was
Mhm.
really surprised on the outcome. But yeah, next weekend gonna get like a whole little like game plan. Excuse me, to let people know on that I'll be streaming next weekend, probably like on a Saturday. So
So just
that's
one of these weekends, we should expect people. We should expect.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I still want to do that other event with you. I talked to my friend. He gave me a couple ideas. I'm gonna talk to you at off air because I don't want anyone stealing my ideas.
Yeah.
But it made sense, and I want to turn it into like a series, like a mini series. We'll
Uh-huh.
probably have like 3 different DJs, and you'll see. Like I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna text it to you, but it makes perfect sense. And
Yeah.
it only came out about because of him and I having a conversation about what I wanted to do with my event. So, but yeah, man. All right, brother. Thank you again. I appreciate
All
it.
right.
This one shouldn't be too hard to edit, and I hope to God that the audio from downstairs didn't leak into here. But the microphone is pretty good at
I think it
muting it.
might have, because I think I heard some background noise a
Oh
little bit.
yeah, you'll definitely have heard my little cousin like yeah, because they're all fucking yelling.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yeah, I want to knock these out as fast as possible. But I'm probably gonna re-listen to it
Hmm.
and try to try to do something with. I don't know if we can do something about that. What do you